Good evening, folks. This is Lisa once again, your favorite spoon bunny. And tonight we are going to be chatting a little bit about what is RSD, or CRPS as it's also known. And you're going to see me referring to a few notes that I took earlier in the day, unfortunately, because once again, brain fog is a thing. It is not an excuse. It is not just something that we made up to, just mess around with people, So you're going to see me referring to notes. You're going to see me, kind of trying to remember all of the information that I need to remember. So it's written down. And I hope for that you will excuse me from time to time. And so again, we're going to be chatting about what is CRPS, RSD, and what are some of the, warning signs to watch out for, and what are the early steps to take in dealing with it. So picture this. You or a loved one, you're experiencing moderate to severe pain that is more or less unexplained, aside from, maybe a sprained ankle or, a sprained wrist or what have you. That's no big deal, at least so you thought. Until you've reached the point where it should have been healed way, way, way long time ago. It's been months. It should have been healed by now, right? But you're still in pain and you're still trying to figure out the cause, right? You may have visited one or more doctors, and you've already heard the dreaded 9 words. The dreaded 9 words that every chronic pain patient has heard at some point in their journey, and that every single chronic pain patient has absolutely despised hearing and has absolutely wanted to strangle, just absolutely wanted to kill a doctor over. Those dreaded 9 words being, there's no reason why you should still be in pain. Oh, goodness. I can't even tell you just how much I hated hearing those words. And I heard them from more than one doctor. Well, yeah. And I heard them for almost a year. There's no reason why you should still be in pain. There was nothing physically wrong with me. The bones in my broken finger had healed. The nerves weren't damaged. There was no reason why I should still be in pain. Well, some of you may be lucky enough to even have a doctor suggest to you that your symptoms might actually be CRPS or RSD. But they don't specialize in the condition, and so they're going to have to refer you to someone else. At this point that you're on a journey, and it's going to be a long one. You're on a journey for a real, definitive diagnosis, and you don't know what's going to come next. You don't know where this is going to end. Well, first of all, you might be one of the lucky ones. You may not have CRPS, RSD. there are a number of conditions that have serious chronic pain as a symptom, but along with others, along with other symptoms that are present in CRPS or RSD. But what we're going to do is we're going to learn more about the condition, along with its signs and symptoms. The signs and symptoms I'll share a little bit more about in my next video. But to help you and your doctor, sort of, either rule it in or rule it out. CRPS, RSD is a neuroinflammatory disorder, as I've said. It's classified as a rare disorder. And it's classified as such by the United States FDA. Still, there are upwards of 200,000 individuals in the United States alone that experience this condition in any given year. And CRPS occurs when the nervous system and the immune system malfunction as they respond to tissue damage from trauma. Just imagine, if you will, you've got the central nervous system. This is your spinal cord, as it were. You've got two separate chains of nerve clusters, chains that run alongside your central spinal cord. These chains of nerve ganglia, those are your sympathetic nervous system. And your sympathetic nervous system is what controls your limbs. And all sensation and motor function and everything that affects, your extremities. Your sympathetic nervous system also controls your autonomic nervous system, your lungs, your heart, your stomach, your digestive system. It controls some of your more autonomic systems, like your limbic system, which controls your temperature control, your sleep systems, your oh my goodness, I can't even think of the words right now. I'm trying to remember. I've lost it. I'm so sorry. But anyway, when the sympathetic nervous system misfires, it sends constant pain signals to your brain. Constant. These may present as burning, freezing, crushing, aching, stabbing, any number of different pain signals can be sent to your brain. And these are constant, 24/7, no matter what. Now, they may increase, they may lessen, but they're always there. There may be days where it's easier. There may be days where it's a lot worse. And so the level of pain on the worst days is measured as one of the most severe on the McGill University pain scale. And again, CRPS usually follows a musculoskeletal injury. It usually follows a nerve injury, a surgery, or an immobilization, such as being in a cast or being in traction, things of that nature. The persistent pain and disability that's associated with it. It requires a coordinated, interdisciplinary, patient-centered care to achieve pain reduction and better function. And so it goes along with, I have a team, let me tell you. I've got pain management. I've got a neurologist. I've got a primary care doctor. I've got a gastroenterologist. I've got an obstetrician. And that forms the basis of my medical team. And I'm only in my 40s. So this is just the beginning for me. It's only been 5 years. And I imagine as I get older, unless, of course, we get a cure, hopefully, by the grace of God, we will. Unless we get a cure, I can only imagine that my team is only going to grow from here. But, it requires an interdisciplinary approach. I've been offered acupuncture, but because my RSD is prone to spreading through repeated injuries, I'm not a real big fan of needles. I've been offered physical therapy, which I love, absolutely adore, because the physical therapy facility that I visit has a heated pool, and they allow me to do hydrotherapy in that heated pool, and the warm water helps quite a bit with some of my pain. And I love it. I've been offered biofeedback, but that is quite expensive, and so I don't opt for that. I've been offered many different therapies over the years that, some I've taken and some I haven't. My latest therapy that I have tried, which has actually worked quite wonderfully for me, has been ketamine infusions. And yes, I know that if you're familiar with ketamine at all, yes, it is a veterinary medicine, but it is very effective in human use for pain relief. So, it's extraordinarily effective for me. And unfortunately for CRPS patients, what works for one person may not work for everyone. And so I encourage you to, if you haven't given it a shot yet, give it a try. What worked for me may not work for you. What works for you may not work for me. And so again, early diagnosis and treatment is generally the key to better outcomes. However, diagnosing CRPS, RSD, that's not a simple matter. It requires some patients search for months, even years for a definitive diagnosis. It's important to know that research has proven that CRPS RSD is a physical disorder. Unfortunately, it's been suggested by some less than kind medical professionals that people with CRPS RSD might exaggerate their symptoms as if we want this. They've suggested that CRPS RSD patients might exaggerate their symptoms for psychological reasons. To that I say, you know what? Trust your body and continue looking for your diagnosis. It is not all in your head. It is not. So continue to fight and advocate for yourself. You know your body better than anyone. And trust it. Advocate for yourself. You are your own best advocate. And you are entitled to continue looking for that answer. Period. So do it. Now, physicians will diagnose or rule out CRPS RSD based on your patient history through clinical examination and through laboratory and test results. Okay? Physicians must rule out any other condition that would otherwise account for the degree of pain and dysfunction before they even consider CRPS RSD. Okay, remember, it's a diagnosis of exclusion. Okay? So it's going to take some time and it's going to take some testing. So be patient. Okay? Be patient with yourself. Be patient with your doctors. But remember, you're entitled to your answers. And it's going to be okay. All right? Remember, early diagnosis and appropriate treatment offer the highest probability for effective treatment and for possible remission of CRPS RSD. And so if you can get that answer as quickly as possible, and if you can get your answer, and if you can advocate for yourself and keep that fight going and keep it going and get it quickly, get your answer quickly, you can get your best possible hope for remission. And I hope, I truly pray that you do. That you can get either remission or that you can get, hope. My best hope for you is that you could rule CRPS out. Because as I've said before, I wouldn't wish CRPS on my worst enemy. And so, I really would hope and pray that you could just simply not have it. But if you do, I hope that you can, get your diagnosis as soon as you can so that you can have, your best hopes and prayers for results in your treatment. And so that will be about all that I have for you today. Until next time, my friends, this is the Spoon Bunny signing off. May your spoons be plenty and your troubles be few. Have a great night.